Everyone was scared of something when they were a child. What were you scared of? I was scared of a troll that lived in our utility room. I knew it was a troll because I'd seen a film recently, and I was therefore an expert in the field. And any time I had to go into the kitchen at night time, I would go as fast as possible, because you could hear the troll going bang, bang, clunk away in the utility room. But the day eventually came where I had to confront the troll. And my parents asked me, would you like to move house? Which I guess they said yes, immediately. That sounds very good, please. And luckily for me, the new house did not have a troll in the utility room. But our fears aren't always this easily dispelled. You know, even now, those people in the room will be scared of, say, flying or spiders, public speaking perhaps, dogs or some people even intimacy. And there's a good reason for these fears, yeah? It's like fight or flight, they keep us alive. But not all of these are life or death situations. But why is it important to confront the fear we have? It's because fear stops us from trying new things. It stops us from validating our understanding and prevents us from being innovative. It's really paralyzing in its effect. And whereas there's lots of businesses that can help you with your personal fears, what I really want to talk about now is what is your team scared of? Some of you might be doing agile transformations, so some people might be scared of change. Might be very concerned about losing power. And some people are scared of making decisions. The subtler ones as well. The fear of failure, the fear of responsibility, and sometimes the fear of success itself. And I've been lucky enough to work with some very technically gifted teams, but even they're scared of some things. Like one of the ones I see quite a lot is the fear of ops. This tends to happen usually in organizations that aren't doing DevOps. They're doing waterfall ops, which I call ops. But what would usually happen in such organizations is there'd be a cursory chat at the start of a project. Everyone gets together and goes, yeah, sounds good. And all of a sudden, a few months later, when you want to release the thing, you speak to ops and they're like, oh no, we didn't think it was that. You've made a lot of decisions about involving us, and we can't possibly make this. And the team go back to their department, and they're unhappy. Those ops people have stopped us again. If only we were in the cloud, we wouldn't have any problems at all. A lot of people are scared of customer feedback. Like it was Hillary was saying earlier with Desire Lines, how it takes a fair bit of courage to go, we're not going to put any paths down. Don't worry about it. But it happens in software development as well. A lot of people, I wish we would spend half the amount of effort we plan on measuring efficiency than we measure effectiveness. Is that thing we did actually giving the benefit that we thought it would? But that's quite scary, right? Finding out that thing you just committed part of your life to actually delivered the value that it was supposed to. Another one's a fear of, well, commitment, but let's say fear of estimates, giving estimates. It requires quite a lot of trust to give your t-shirt sizes, your M, your XLs, and then not have someone write them down, put them in an Excel spreadsheet, count them up with a 50% variance, and then tell someone else in the business, 21st of October in the morning, 99% sure. Yeah, I mean, but as well as these levels, it also happens at the code level as well. People can be scared of their own creations and other people's creations. I recently worked with a team where we were improving a bit of code, and it had some caching logic in, and the caching didn't seem to be saving much time, I thought. So I asked, hey, the code would be a lot simpler if we removed this caching bit. Can we do that? And the look they gave me, it was imagine like they're druids. And I was asking if you could move part of Stonehenge into my front garden because I really want to have a barbecue. They were not pleased. So I was like, okay, well, it might affect performance, okay, but by how much? Do we know? That, well, the customers tell us when the performance is not being met. So, well, really, how about we measure it? How about we add some analytics? Oh, we can't add analytics, it would affect performance. And another one is like just being scared of stakeholders, you know? Being afraid to being able to say no to them, or not just now. So I'd like to talk now a bit about courage. So I see courage is sort of the triumph over fear. If you weren't scared firsthand, it's not really courage. Courage is going out with your fear and saying, yes, I'm going to try and confront this. I'm going to do something about it. But how can you tell what your teams are scared of? You see, you just go there and you listen for certain things. You listen for like conversations of avoidance, where they don't want to talk about something. Or conversations where it ends up being like some rambling, unfound story, it doesn't sound quite right. And you can go and investigate those things. Find out if they're true and look inside to see if there's anything you can do about it. So I'd like to tell you about a story about something I did recently with a team. And to give you some context, the team's got, the company has thousands of people. This application in particular is about 10 years old. Practically every request historically has came through this team. And due to the architecture, we can't really scale and add more people. So this one team ends up with quite a lot of demand and trying to figure out what to do with it. And what would happen historically is the directors of the company would come down and find one of the members of the team and say, right, I need this, and I need this now. And this is the most important thing. And they're like, yes, sir, right away. And then, of course, another director comes and goes, right, I need this now. I'm like, yes, sir, right away. And all of a sudden, you end up with this work in progress column, which is about twice the size of the team. And eventually, all the team would always do is basically get the CEO of the company to come down and prioritize the backlog. Because how can they tell from all these directors who have the ability to fire them which one is the one that's telling the truth about the expediency and value of what they're doing? So we decided this can't go on. We can't keep getting the CEO to come down and prioritize our backlog every time the directors come down, which was about 3 times a day. So what we got to do to the team is we've got to right, okay, rather than saying yes sir straight away, doing that, we're going to ask them what's the value of this card and how urgent is it? So we saw value as sort of, it'll make millions for the company, or make thousands for the company, or it's kind of like meh, it's kind of got some value, but we're not going to shout about it. And also, how does time affect the value of that? I mean, needs to be done everything's as soon as possible, right? But some things really are as soon as possible, and some things aren't. Excuse me. So, for example, you have a marketing campaign that's going out on Sunday and it requires some software to support it. That's as soon as possible. If you deliver that a month late, not going to be very useful. But most other things, they can wait a while. So we started doing this, and of course the directors were immediately put off foot, you're asking me why? Why am I doing this? Just take my word on it. We have to take everyone's word on it. It doesn't scale. So, but eventually they got into the routine, and they started coming down, and there's so much more interesting conversation. When the directors came down, the whole team got together going, hey, cool, the director's here, what have you got for us? This sounds good. And then we look at the other things and say, right, we think it's here, and you'll get it after this. And I think that took a tremendous amount of courage to go from being someone that just took orders to being someone that was asking directors of the company in their suits that came down from the glass offices, what is the value of this thing? Why are you asking us to do it? There's fear of job threat, and there's a fear of what might happen. But yeah, I was very proud to see what the team managed to do when given this simple method. But trust me, also, I'm very scared of things as well. I'm scared of heights, and also I'm very scared of untested code that suddenly gets dropped in my lap and has a change request to do with it. Which happens, right? It happens to all of us. And I don't like the word legacy code, like heritage code, because it's code that got us where we are. Show some respect to the code. So as soon as I get this stuff, I'm immediately scared. There's no test, and I need to change something. And what would usually happen is, what you could do is you could go in and do a quick hack, or you could throw your toys at the pram and say, you need to rewrite everything all the time, this thing has to go. But what I do is what is the essence of this thing? And just write an outside-in test, some input-output testing, making sure it does a thing. And once I've got this nice harness where I can change a file and I get a green light or a red light, which tells me immediately about the health of what I've done, then I'm not scared of it anymore. And I can do things like start renaming things to make more sense. I can add that feature, and any other features in that area that someone might want me to add. I'm no longer scared. And anyone that joins the project also can have that safety harness to allow them to do things. So you're wondering what it sounds like to be in a team that has courage. And you start hearing things like, I'm going to try this. And if it doesn't work out, we'll take it back. But I'm not going to ask anyone about doing it. I'm just going to try this. And if it works, we can do this. Otherwise, we won't. We'll do something else. And that's fine. And off they go. And I have worked in teams where it's like this sort of fearless environment. And I've got to say, it's the most fun, not necessarily productive, but it's the most effective environment that I've worked in. And for me, that's what it is about teams being empowered. Teams that aren't scared of trying things. So I want you to do one thing when you go back to work tomorrow, and that's just listen. Listen out for the fears that you might hear from your teams. Listen for the unfounded stories, listen for the avoidance, and just go there and give that fear a big hug. See if you can take the team members with you when you're trying to figure out what's going on there. Don't let some troll in the dark stop your team from being empowered. Thank you.